This last few weeks, we've lost both public and private figures. I went to Austin Friday for the memorial service for Senator Mario Gallegos, and then we were at the funeral Monday morning. And I watched the firefighters do the firefighter thing, and the church do the church thing, and the family do the family thing. And in some ways it hurt my heart, but in other ways it was a really special time. You know, we had a chance all weekend to tell Mario stories, and you know, I watched on Monday morning and thought how much he would have loved the whole thing. And it was an honor and a pleasure to be there. We also lost some folks that nobody would necessarily know. Last Thursday we lost my uncle by marriage, Isidore Ibarra. He's married to Aunt Josephine. They've been married 77 years. The item in the paper was really very interesting to read, even though I had spent time at their house. A few years ago they had a fire, and Uncle Isidore had a wooden leg, and during the fire he couldn't find it, and they're groping around in the dark with the foam going everywhere, and the firefighters climbing around trying to find his leg. And they, by God, got his leg and got him out, and I was over there, Councilmember Rodriguez and the firefighters made sure I knew about it. And I was over there picking through the wet, soggy remains of the house, trying to figure out what had happened to them, and hooked up, they had gone to a neighbor's house. But you have to think about a 99-year-old man who'd been married 77 years, he was 97 at the time this happened, getting out of that house, getting his leg, doing what needed to be done. Anyway, I went to his rosary and funeral, and they buried him yesterday at Forest Park. And I just want to send my condolences to all the Ibarras, to his sons and to Aunt Josephine and their neighbors at Magnolia. But what a life well lived. In May he would have been 100, and he was truly a game bird. He was tough and got things done. But 2 days later, when she found out about the passing of her brother, we lost his sister, Frances Ibarra Rodriguez, who had been married to Uncle Pete. Uncle Pete had worked at Texas A&M, and his son was one of the first Latinos to go to A&M. And he became a professor, got his PhD, became a professor, is now a university professor, Pete Jr. And they also raised several kids that were not their own. All of these families came from the Brazos River bottom, started out sharecropping and picking cotton and working the land, and became university professors, became food service folks, ended up with commissaries and restaurants and all kinds of things. The Ibarra family owns Gringos. There's an El Toro in Baytown that's an Ibarra cousin. So you realize that these stories, the firefighter stories, the stories about Magnolia, the stories about Brian and the Brazos River bottom, and all of those things are everyone's stories. And it reminds you what's important in life. It's very easy to get about your day and get on your phone and text and talk and email and do all the things we do and forget what's important. What's important are your children and your parents and your neighbors and your friends and your siblings. And I would just remind all of you to pay attention.